What is a participle, Addison? And pull your mask up, please.
A word ending in ing that is used or acts as an adjective.
Is it only ending in ing?
Oh, or ed.
Or ed? Okay, what's a gerund, Andrew?
A verb plus ing used as a noun.
Good. So these are very important. What is the definition of a verbal? Alex?
It's a word that acts as another, like, it's a verb that acts as like another, like.
Another part of speech?
But that's not on your thing.
It's not on here, but you should know it. A
Oh,
verbal.
Wait,
A verb?
Wait, what is it?
It's a verb that acts like another part of speech.
Like it could be
Wait,
like.
what's
an
it?
adjective.
Give me an
Participles and
example.
gerunds are two types of verbals.
Wait, can you give an example?
I just did. A participle and a gerund are two types of verbals. It's any
it's a
verb
verb that
that's not
acts as-
acting as a verb.
So a verb
What
that
is
acts
the
as
verb?
other parts of speech.
Is that
Yes.
possible?
What is the definition of participle
Oh,
again?
so a verbal is participle and gerund.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
I-
Okay, so you guys, let's go through very quickly. Number one, I'm gonna start with you. Do you have it, Josie? Can you look on with Tracy? 'Cause this review would be helpful. Matt, do you have it?
No.
Come sit over here and look on with Alex, please.
Yeah, man.
Hold on. I really
Come here, buddy.
No. So Matt, did you make copies of any worksheets while you were home?
I made.
Actually, don't move, Matt. I'm giving you this.
Oh, I made copies of
Oh.
the homework from like 2 days ago.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was yesterday. So. Okay.
Oh,
Is it also going
okay.
to Alex or am I going next after?
You're gonna sit here. Write the answers in. Okay. Number one. Yes, Aiden.
Restarting?
I was just wondering if you tried to not.
Okay. Number one. What are the participles in this sentence, Hudson?
Oh, walking outside, that modifies Mr. Troy, and scattered with stars modifies sky.
Very good. Okay, Dominic. Number two.
Alright, it is waiting for the play to begin, it's describing what the children are.
Yeah.
Just go dominate.
There's one more. There's one more. It's a single word. Alex.
Is it like grew or board?
It's board. It's board. So any word that ends in ing or ed, you're looking at it to see, is it acting as an adjective? If it is, it's a participle. Dominic.
How much are the, is that gonna be worth? Like if you miss one.
Each one is worth 1 point. It's 46 points.
So they
Addison.
can modify the same subject?
Yep. You can have multiple participles modifying the same subject. Andrew.
So, what if, I have a sentence that's like mowing down the lawn, and I underline mowing down the lawn.
Uh-huh.
But like, turns out I needed like another word. How much would I miss?
Maybe half.
Oh, half of the whole thing?
Maybe half of 1 point.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so Leah,
What is board modify?
the children. Okay, it's actually a predicate adjective, it's a participle. Okay, number three, Charlotte, what did you underline?
Working hard all day.
Uh-huh, and what does that modify?
The boys.
Boys, okay. Number,
Wait, it's finished?
No, because that's actually the verb in sentence. Because sentence finished is actually the verb.
finished is the verb, yeah.
Yeah.
So we underline that?
Okay, no, working all day. So this is why when you do this, it's really helpful to find out what's the subject verb. Then you just kind of have that out of the way. This one thing is the verb. Is there anything else that looks like a verb that's being an adjective? Aiden.
Okay, so I have a question about number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand how board isn't part of the verb there, because if it's not, then that just means it's the children grew.
Grew is a linking verb. You could replace it with is. Okay, so grew, appear, seems, there's like a whole group. But bored is describing the children, and it's not showing an action. You're not gonna grow boring. Like there's no action that goes with growing boring, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, number 4, Tracy.
Driven from their homeland.
What's it describe? People. Number 5,
I
Charlotte.
have a question.
Okay.
For number 4, driven, that doesn't end in an ED though.
But remember I said it can be irregular. So N and T,
So if it ends in an N or T, it could also be.
right? Okay, good question. Number 5, Alex?
I had jumping up and down, and then there's also urged the team to victory.
Well, is urged a verb, or is it?
It
It's
is.
verb, it's verb.
It's a verb.
Oh,
So
right,
you're
right, right.
only looking for a verb that's working as an adjective. So, jumping up and down modifies cheerleaders. John Carter, number 6.
Encouraged by a performance in the semifinals, modifies team.
Excellent. Andrew, number 7.
Making her final notations.
From the experiment. All of that.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, and remember, if it's an opener, it's got a comma, just that can help you narrow it down to it's a participle. What's it describing, Andrew?
Kate,
Kate, and then number 8, Aiden,
Drifting across the field.
describes what? Okay, and there's one more, number 8, describes
All the way.
woman. So you have drifting across the field describes we, walking towards us describes woman. Number 9, Dominic?
Is it like that really long one, opening
Yes.
a letter with an expected check for $100?
Yeah. We're
And that's describing
Kathy, so the participle phrase is longer than the skeleton of the sentence. So opening the letter with an unexpected check for $100 describes Kathy. John Carter.
Wait, never mind, I just answered my own question.
Okay, Dominic, Dominic, number 10.
Having spent each afternoon at the beach.
What-
That's describing Alice.
Okay, modifies Alice. So having spent each afternoon at the beach modifies Alice. Now, I am going to read 11 through 16. Matt,
Can you give me number 4?
I will give you this sheet when I finish with it, okay? Because I know it's hard to do it when I'm reading it out loud. Okay, so 11 is a participle. My mom accidentally burned the potatoes boiling on the stove. Boiling on the stove describes potatoes. Number 12 is a participle. Cheered by the spectators describes the athletes. Question?
Oh, yes, I actually have a question about number 8.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Can you say the participle phrases again on that one?
On number 8, drifting across the field describes we. And walking towards us describes woman.
Alright.
Okay? So back to, we did 12, participle. 13 is a gerund. Fasting from sugar is the subject of the sentence, so it's a gerund. Andrew, you with me? You checking those? This is gonna be on the quiz. Number 14 is a gerund because it comes after a preposition, after, so it's the object of a preposition, therefore it has to be a noun, therefore it is a gerund. Okay? So make sure that you know these noun jobs that they're doing. Lee, you got a question?
How is, okay, so I put as participle for number 14, but would it be acting as the object of the preposition?
It is. And an object of a preposition is always a noun, right? So that would be a gerund. Okay, Alex?
What was number 13 again? I had it as a gerund.
Gerund, and it was a subject.
All right.
15 is a gerund. Drinking coffee is the direct object. I like what? Drinking coffee. Uh-huh.
So, drinking coffee, I put gerund as well, but like, it's not acting as the verb.
It is not.
Like it's.
Spell it.
Like is the verb. Okay, and this is an activity. I like what? Drinking coffee. Okay? So I hope going over it right now is gonna make this really fresh in your mind. John Carter?
Can I suggest you?
If you dare, yes.
And
Dominic?
so I did also put gerund down, but why would you put it as the direct object of like, wouldn't you say like I like coffee if you were the diagram and you put drinking somewhere else?
Yeah, it's very tricky, but I like, and then you're gonna ask the direct object question. I like what?
And that'd be drinking.
Drinking coffee
Because
is.
if it makes sense without coffee, that's why.
I
it's
mean-
a direct object.
Right, maybe you just like smelling coffee, but this person really likes drinking coffee. Okay? Okay, good questions. 16 is a participle. Tired and discouraged describes she. Charlotte?
So for 16, couldn't that be a predicate noun? Because I put
Gerund, predicate, noun. Okay, that is a great question, because you noticed there was a linking verb. So you guys, listen to this. If you've got a linking verb, of course, it could be a predicate nominative, that would be a gerund, or a predicate adjective, a participle. The difference is, does she equal tired and discouraged?
Yes.
Hey, nice.
Okay, but equals means it's the same. Could you, is tired and discouraged a noun that could replace she?
No.
No. And if you don't clue on anything else, a gerund can't end in ed. It's only ing. Okay? So the thing you have to say is it describing or could it replace? And if you said she was a teacher, she equals teacher. Teacher and she are the same thing. She doesn't equal tired and discouraged. Maybe she feels that way, but she's not a tired and discouraged.
So a gerund can't end in ed.
Right? Only ing.
So it's a participle.
So it has to be a participle. Anything with an ed is going to be a participle. Okay? Okay, Leah.
What was, 12?
Participle. Okay? Andrew?
What was 11?
Participle. Okay, turn it over. Number 17, driving down the road, is a dangling participle. It does not have, Addison, a noun or pronoun that it's modifying. So it doesn't modify the deer, and it doesn't modify my car. My car's not driving, I'm driving the car. Or maybe Mickey is driving the car, I don't know. But you have to add something. So if there's no noun or pronoun that it modifies, then it's going to be dangling. So driving down the road, I watched a deer jump in front of my car. Okay? I shuddered as a deer jumped in front of my car. The number one thing I want to tell you is when you change the sentence, don't lose the participle. You've got to keep the participle. And you only add words if it's dangling. Andrew.
Like, I put this place just because my car.
I know.
It sounds like the subject, but it's not.
It's not, because my car isn't driving. I'm driving my car.
And it's an object of the preposition.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Very good.
Jason.
Okay, the next three are all misplaced modifiers because there is a noun or pronoun in the sentence that it describes. So number 18, you should have underlined flooded by tourists. That describes museums, so we just have to move it, and the best way is to say flooded by tourists, comma, the art museum was filled with remarkable paintings. Dominic?
Wait, so that just still sounds like the tourists are flooded with art museum. I don't know why, if you change it and say flooded by tourists, the art museum is filled with remarkable paintings.
It's still, what is flooded by tourists? It's not the painting, it's the museum. Okay? Okay, Madison?
I'm confused on how to rewrite dangling modifiers.
Dangling modifiers, you have to put in, create a noun or pronoun.
Right, but how do you do that without subordinate and conjunction? That keeps confusing.
Well, let me give you a clue. You keep your participle. You keep driving down the road. Now, what can you add so you have a noun that it modifies, or a pronoun? So, driving down the road. Who do I want to be driving down the road? Driving down the road, Addison jerked as a deer jumped in front of my car. Okay? I don't care what you add after the participle. You got to keep that participle where it is.
Because like earlier, like you said, like if like Andrew said, like my car, he thought like it was a subject, it would be like basically saying driving down the road, my car jumped in front of a deer. Like that doesn't make sense. So it would have to be like the deer jumped in front of my car while I was driving down the road. Like it's sort of like that. Like it's not like grammatically like.
Yeah, but this is correcting. You have to keep a participle. If it was a grammar assignment like editing, sure, you can change it. Make it a subordinating clause, a dependent clause. But I want you to keep the participle. So 19, you should have underlined wearing a bright red apron, and you just have to, and for dinner's a little optional, but wearing a bright red apron for dinner, comma, he baked a chicken. It's referring to he. He is wearing the apron, not the chicken. Addison.
I just had a brain fart. Could you please tell me the dangling modifiers again? How did you write that?
The what?
How to rewrite a dangling modifier? I
A
forgot.
dangling modifier, you insert a noun or pronoun
What did
for the
we-
part.
What did we insert on 17?
Coordinating conjunction, like, I'm so caught up on that.
You wanna change it to a conjunction, as he drove down the road.
What did we insert?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like, but I can't, like, I'm just so stuck on that because I have to in order for the sentence to make sense.
This is a participle exercise, so I want you to keep the participle. If you remove it as a participle, it doesn't help you learn how to use participles. The whole point is, when you have a participle, it has to be right next to the noun or pronoun it modifies. If it's dangling, create a noun for it to modify. Okay, is it hard to think about creating? So just tell me, how would you do number 17? How could you create?
Okay, a deer jumped in front of my car while I was driving down the road.
Okay, so that loses the participle.
Okay, so,
So what I wanna say to you that will help, and this is for all of you, keep your participle in the same place when you're correcting a dangling participle. Don't move your participle on those. You can move it on the misplaced, but on the dangling, leave it in the same place so you don't reword it. Okay, we need to hurry. Addison?
so like, I was driving down the road and a deer jumped in front of my car. Wait, what?
No.
But,
Driving down the road, you keep that. Driving down the road, I watched a deer jump in front of my car. Okay, you just have to keep the participle. Dominic?
So on the test, are we gonna have to like, are we gonna have to insert for the dangling? Or we just gonna have to list?
You're gonna have to do exactly what this is.
Okay, so we don't have to insert anything?
You might, if there's a dangling participle, you're gonna have to create a noun or pronoun. Andrew,
I really need to use
go,
our.
that's fine. Last one, shattered into small pieces. This you just have to move because it modifies vase. I found my mother's vase shattered into small pieces. Okay, Matt?
What did we add on 17?
Okay, I'm gonna give this to you, Matt. I wanna give everybody enough time.
Wait, can we get your diagram real quickly, please?
No.
Gosh, you guys,
I
at
need
this
it.
point, you've got 20 minutes and
I
you need
need
it.
it, I need it.
Okay, put your stuff away. I gotta hand this to you.
Diagram by diagram.
Okay, who's ready?
Not me.
This row's ready.
Totally ready.
Participles are on curvy lines.
Yeah, my road's ready.
Okay, with the curvy lines,
With
with the things that modify, does it just go under
You
it?
told us yesterday that there was gonna be diagram on the quiz.
No, I didn't.
Wait,
I said there would
George,
only be participles.
And for the curvy lines, if there's extra stuff on the page, do you do it under it or do you just
you get diagram Terrence?
It's all on the.
Wait, do you go under the adjective or do you go under the noun or diagramming? Wait, I have one more quick question.
Oh, so this would be.
Okay, guys.
This would be.
We're not diagramming.
Below.
What do you do